Hi guys, I welcome you to ED Math Education, the YouTube channel. I will continue to work on the quadratic equation or quadratic function. I have already taught you about when do we call it a function and when do we call it equation. It kind of is interchangeably. We are using the f of x, we call it a function. When we are using the y, we equation. All of them, they mean the same. Today we are going to look at the factored form of a quadratic. The factored form of a quadratic right here. When you see a quadratic in this form, this is the factored form. The a and the b is a factor. And here, when it's in this form, is a standard. And when it's in this form, is the vertex form. And then we have look at this last two here. All of them have their benefits. It's like an iPhone. They keep on upgrading iPhone 10, then iPhone 11, 12, 13, and now we have 14. Each of them have a specific feature that is really unique among the various type. And the same thing here, when we are looking at the vertex form of a quadratic, we see that we can see the vertex really clearly here. And now when we are in the standard, we also see the c, which is a y-intercept. It gives us that benefit. And then when we are in the factored form, it gives us the solution or the zeros or the x-intercepts. So that is also the benefit. So we need to know how to change it from each one to another, and each of them have their benefits. So that's the reason why, as we are doing this algebra 2, we need to know all the various types of the quadratic forms. So let's look at, if you have y is equals to x minus 3 into parentheses and then another x plus 2. This is already in the factored form. Can you expand this one for you to get the standard form? Yes. So when we do this, we have already done that. So you take this one, you multiply it against this, which we are applying the FOIL. So the first give us x squared, and then the outer will give us plus 2x, and then the inner will give us negative 3x, and then the last will give us negative 6. You're multiplying. Then you combine like terms. The middle is like term, and that will give us negative 1x minus 6. Sometimes we can write it without the 1, but we're going to need it. That's the reason why I put over there. Okay, so this becomes the standard form. And here we can see visually the y-intercept, which is going to be negative 6. But now we're here. How can we get back here? That is the skills that we are going to learn in order for us to find our factors, the factored form, and then we get our zeros. So when you are in the standard and you're going to go to the factored form, what we have to do is that we have to look at this number here, the constant here. And then you have to look at the factors. What are the two numbers that multiply to give us 6? You can even forget about the negative for now. It's 1 and 6, and then 2 and 3. You have to also look at the coefficient of the x. So normally we have this simple way. We have to look for the factors of the negative 6, and then we have to, when we add the factors, we have to get negative 1. So now let's look at the negative 6. So one of the, since the constant is negative, one of the factors have to be negative in such a way that when we add, we have to get negative 1. We have to get this number here. So even if I put here negative, realize that when I add, I'm going to get negative 5, which is it's not closer to this. And even if I put it here, I'm going to get positive 5. It's no closer here. But here, we can massage this one together. So we are going to use this factors. So for me to get negative 1, this have to be negative. So here, we could see that it's going to be negative 3 and 2. And when we add, we get that. So once we realize this, normally you go ahead and you write this, because this is x squared, you split the x and put it here, and you're waiting for the factors. So the factors that we got is negative 3 and this is positive, so plus 2. These are the factors. Therefore, this is the factored form. And now we want to solve it. We are in the factored form. The benefit is that we are going to get a solution. So we are going to solve this one. So when we want to solve this one, all that we have to do, two numbers multiplying to get 0, it means that it's either x minus 3 equals to 0. If that is the case, then that implies that x is equals to 3. Or the second one, x plus 2 is equals to 0. If that is the case, that implies that x is equals to negative 2. So these are the solution. These are the x-intercepts, or these are the zeros, or these are the roots. Solution have a lot of names. So now we have able to solve this. So normally when you get a factors, the opposites of the factors are the solutions. Okay, and that's how we solve standard form into the factored form. I have a bunch of videos that I have done in here, so I'm going to link all of them into the description box. So steady and steady and steady and steady. But here I'm going to do one more work here, but I'm going to change it all the way to the other various type for you to see what is happening. So let's look at our next example. So if we have y is equals to x squared minus 6x plus 5, and we have been asked to solve. So anytime you're solving, that means you're looking for the solution. So solve equals to the solution equals to the zeros, it's equals to the x-intercepts, and it's the same as roots. All of them means the same. You gotta know that. So here we have studied that you take this constant, and before that you do your parenthesis, you will split the x and you're waiting for your factor. So what are two numbers you multiply, you get 5? It's just 1 and 5. But in such a way that when we add it, you gotta get this. So when we add it, we gotta get negative 6. So how can we make that possible? But remember, positive times positive is equals to positive, and negative times negative is also equals to positive. So that means we can make this negative and negative. So we can make it negative 5 and negative 1. And when we will multiply, it gives us that, and when we add, it gives us that. So these two numbers satisfy the condition. So we get negative 5, negative 1. Though it's equals to 1, but since we want to solve it, we will say that x minus that is equals to zeros. Okay? And if that is the case, then x minus 5 is equals to 0 implies that x is equals to 5. And x minus 1 equals to 0 implies that x is equals to positive 1. So these two numbers is a solution. So we have able to solve it. So our work is done. But now I want you to, so from here, this is the standard form. We have able to find the factored form. So this is our standard. The given was the standard. And this is the factored form. Now, can we also do the vertex form? Yes, we can do that. So from the class, what we learned, there's a lot of ways. Quadratic is one of the biggest equations I have ever seen. You want to get all the information, it's going to be like, yeah, I can give you all the information, but you're going to be tired of it. It's a bunch of information. So what we study in class is that we were using the formula x is equals to negative b over 2a to get our s coordinate, so we can use that. So here our b, negative, negative, and then here is 1, and that would have given us 6 over 2, which is 3. So that's one way to get that. Even and here, from here too, we could have able to see, because this 2 was the x-intercept. So we could also find the midpoint of that, and that would have given us this one. So if we add this and we divide by 2, that would have also given us the x-coordinate or the line of symmetry. Now we plug this back to get a y component. So when we plug it into we can plug it either into this one or that one, and we will get the same answer. So let's even plug it here, and we'll have get 3 minus 5, and then here 3 minus 1, and that would have given us negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. So now we know that our vertex point or the turning point is equals to 3, negative 4. So for us to write the fatted form is just y is equals to x minus 3 all squared minus 4. So all this here, they are all equivalent. And all of them reviews different kind of futures. And that's all that we are doing in the fatted form. As I said, if you want to solve quadratic equation, I have done a bunch of it. I'm going to put all in the description box. Steady in that playlist. I have almost like 15 videos on quadratic, how to solve quadratic. So look at it, and we will do more. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. Please subscribe if today is your first time. Like the video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.